have your ass smoked up or a blunt. They say you're too blunt, but I don't give a fuck. I be straight up with these dumb fucks. I need that money right now, Been in corners on the crabs, Hey,
Welcome, it's the Close the Deal Show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray. And our motto is the movement to succeed continues. Every week we bring you business information, tips, and insights from entrepreneurs, business professionals, and inspired individuals from San Francisco as well as Los Angeles in the Bay Area and beyond. The Close the Deal Show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small business. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business or educate the public, then you're in the right place. Thank you for joining us today. And today's guest is an entrepreneur, but also a farmer's agent from a well-renowned insurance company. Her name is Sofia Poni. So ladies and gentlemen of the Close the Deal Show, please welcome Sophia. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Terrence?
I'm great. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. People may not know, but we have already met, and I was so honored to have you at the Business Mixer, not only in sponsoring it, but in shedding light on educating the public on why insurance is so important. So could you give the people, for the first time viewing and watching this show, an opportunity to know who you are and a little of your background?
Of course, definitely. My name is Sofia Poni. I am a farmer's insurance agent. I'm a small business owner. And I've had the wonderful opportunity of building my name and my business through farmers. And a little bit about me is the reason why I'm actually so passionate about insurance is I want to make sure that our assets are protected and that we're here to do this for our family. So bringing that back is I was in a car accident, a major car accident in 2003, where I actually became disabled.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. And it's been hard, but it also makes you understand how precious life is, that you may not be here the next day or in any given moment. And how are we leaving a legacy and what are we doing for our family? So getting into insurance really opened my eyes about a lot of different things, life insurance, auto insurance, just the regular stuff that we don't think about. And having come through that accident, what would have happened if I wasn't there anymore? How would my children, would they be able to go to college? How would my mother take care of him? Those kind of things, really went through my mind. And so
No, finish.
And so it's been a blessing that I actually got into this business to understand how I can help others learn how to protect their family and leave a legacy for generations to come. And that all comes in with life insurance and even home ownership and mortgage protection and auto insurance.
I don't want to impose, but was that tragic experience to the point where you felt there was a necessary need to educate not only yourself but others?
Definitely. I mean, before that, after my accident, I had a small business myself.
What happened with the accident?
Well, with the accident, it was a rollover in black ice, and I was ejected from the car, and my vertebrae shifted and my spinal cord was exposed.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so it was pretty tragic. I was basically paralyzed for a few weeks, and I had to regain strength. I just had to make it. And that's all I was determined to do, was to come back. There was no way that I was just going to not walk again, as the doctors had told my family.
So if you didn't have insurance, do you think the situation could have been far worse?
If I would have died, yes. I mean, definitely. If I didn't have the correct coverage for my family to keep going on, it would have been really a hard struggle for my mother to take care of my two young children. So life insurance, like I'm saying, is very important, whether you're young and you don't have a family, you don't think you have any beneficiaries. you have a family and you're protecting a mortgage to make sure that your family doesn't have to leave their house if something happens to the main breadwinner that's paying that mortgage. So all of those kind of things, yeah, really got into my mind. Like, what would have happened if I wasn't there anymore?
So you actually re change your life around by saying, I want to prepare for what is inedible for all of us.
Definitely. Unfortunately, we are all going to pass away one day. We don't know when. And I want to have people understand the mindset to know that if something does happen tomorrow, am I leaving my family okay? Are they going to be protected? Can I leave a legacy for them? If I'm a business owner, I am a business owner, and my children or family depend on my earnings. Something happened to me, how would they continue to go on? And it's very important to understand that, not just understand that I need to have insurance because that's what the state says and, I have to do this, but really bring it back to yourself. And how are you protecting your family? How are you protecting your assets? I always tell my clients, talk to me, allow me to talk to you to protect your assets before an attorney on the other side wants to take a look at your assets to take them away. And that's a big thing.
So, for instance, say someone who doesn't make over $60,000 a year, how could they afford life insurance?
It's all depend on age and what their requirement is. Like, what are they looking to protect? That's what we want to look at. Even if you are not a homeowner in the Bay Area, if you just rent, but you've been there for a while and your spouse or significant other is depending on your income to keep that rent going on so your children can stay in that same school district and, allow for the things that you provided while you were alive, you can afford it. You just have to take a look. And you have to be able to understand how to budget. What's important to you? Are those, Starbucks every day important? Or, if you cut that out at $5 a day, are you able to put that into a life insurance for yourself, for your family?
So how does one learn how to find a good insurance agent?
Right. So, you got commercials all over the place about name your price and here's a price gun. But you're not the insurance professional. Come to an insurance professional that really understands what consists in your family, what is important to you, what are you protecting. And that's where I really strive to explain that to my clients. I don't want to say, hey, you'll save $5 here and $10 here, because in the long run, if an attorney comes and looks at you, they're going to look at the whole picture as well, and they want to take everything that they can get. Did you know that the average award that somebody gets in a car accident is over $436,000?
No, I didn't know
for
that.
bodily injury. So we're talking. We're here in the Bay Area. We see Teslas every day. If you hit a Tesla and you rear end a Tesla, automatically you're at fault. But it's not like they can just replace the bumper and go on their merry way. You may have hit an executive where he earns over, $300,000 a year, and maybe he can't go to work for a few weeks. If you're taken away from his income, you should be guaranteed to know that his attorney is going to be calling you and talking to you. So that's why it's really important to talk to an insurance professional to explain what are we protecting in case this happens. That's what insurance is for.
For a household of 5 people, what type of insurance plan would you suggest by educating a family of 5 that they would need?
Well, of course, we're going to need to protect their home, whether they're in an apartment or condo or a regular traditional home. We want to protect their dwelling. And if there's a fire, we want to make sure that their home is protected, that they're able to rebuild and have another house, or even relocate somewhere else while their house is being reconstructed. And just homeowners coverage to make sure their personal property is there, loss of use, that they can go to a hotel while they're in transition, auto insurance, of course, and definitely an umbrella policy, which is an extension of liability. So if your primary policies are exhausted through whatever incident happened on your liability side, you have an umbrella to protect the rest of it.
Could you clarify for our viewers the term umbrella?
So basically, an umbrella policy is an extension of liability. So on your auto policy, you have bodily injury and property damage. That's the liability coverages that you need to have when you're driving, right? So state limits in California is basically 25,000 for bodily injury and I believe 5,000 for property damage. So if you're behind a Tesla and you hit a Tesla, $5,000 is not going to cover that Tesla to get fixed. So bodily injury for 25,000. Again, if you hit that executive, he's going to need more. So basically, I like to look at the whole household again. Who are the drivers? Farmers has great discounts for youthful drivers, which nobody wants to insure their 16-year-old driver, but we have a lot of discounts for that, and just you just need to talk to your agent to understand what are you protecting. That's all it really comes down to is let's look at it as a whole package and let's look at what are we protecting, what are your assets, what do you have, and what is insurability, how do you want to make sure that if something happened to you or anybody in the family that things are taken care of when you're not there.
What about that single bachelor between the ages of 25 to 60?
A single bachelor from 25 to 60.
Correct.
That's a big that's a long age group there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're driving, definitely you need insurance. And same thing again is the liability. We want to match those liability limits to what your earning potential is or what you have that you don't want an attorney to take after you. If we're talking about life insurance, then yes, if you're a single bachelor, I mean, hopefully one day you'll have a family. Hopefully one day you'll be married and have a wife. And then that's where you want to protect. You want to buy a house. You want to have children. You want your wife to or a husband to know that without my earnings that you'll be taken care of. So it's always the best thing is to get life insurance when you're young and healthy, because you don't know, again, the next day what anything can happen, what you can come down with, and you want to get that guaranteed insurability now.
So outside of life insurance that you educate the public on, what other insurance policies do you also educate the public on?
Yes, so I'm very passionate about retirement. As we all know, that Social Security may be running out probably in 10 to 13 years from now.
Wait a minute. Are you sure about that?
Well, you check. I mean, look at the deficit and see where the funding is going. And they're telling you that if you look back in 1950, there was about 5 workers that put into Social Security to pay for 1 to 2 people. Now, with millenniums and also the age of the baby boomers that are retiring, no money is not coming back into Social Security to pay for that. So if especially for our reentry groups, if you haven't put into Social Security, what's going to happen when you come out home and you're earning and then you're now coming to the age of wanting Social Security? Do you have money for that? How are you going to retire? What is the lifestyle that you want to have? And now we're here in the Bay Area. We make a lot of money. And what are you doing with that money? How are you making that money work for you? And that's what I really like to talk and educate people about is there's loopholes that the government offers, not just 401k investments or IRAs where, if you want to take the money out, that there's tax implications of 8%. There's other things that you can do to grow and invest your money. And, by the time you're 60, 65 and you want to take that money out, that you can take that out.
So are you telling me that if you don't start preparing a nest egg for 20 years from now, which some people like my age, 50, 49 years of age, if they don't start preparing from now, they can find themselves in a detriment?
Definitely. I mean, if you're working right now and you're making, $100,000, we're all not going to be working until we're 65, right? So at the age of 65, we want to retire. We want to have something. What is that income coming in? Like I said, you cannot rely on Social Security. What else do you have? So now with your earning potential that you have, this is the best time to invest your money to make it work for you.
And through your retirement plan, elaborate several principles in which you would outline for someone to live and go by.
So basically, the way I kind of do it, I go backwards a little bit. So I take their age. I take how long they want to fund money for. say it's 15 years or 10 or 20 years, and what is the end result that you want? Do you Nowadays $1 million in retirement is not enough. So 2 million, 3 million, and then we take that 3 million, we go by how many years you want to fund it for, what is your budget, and then that's where we work those numbers and see what we can do and how to get to that number, that end goal.
How will you be able to determine that, for instance, not knowing which way the economy is going to go 3 or 4 years from now?
Well, the same thing is that whether you want to retire here in the U.S. or you want to retire outside, it's all about money. It's what you want. So every plan or everything we talk about is always designed towards that one person. If I make 100,000 and the next person makes 300,000, and that's their lifestyle, usually you want to maintain that lifestyle. So everything is just dependent on that person.
So what tools do you help the individual develop in order to meet that goal? Because you set them up with a plan, but what if they don't execute it? Do you put like restrictions like in the stock market? You put an actual cap on not spending this amount of money? What do you tell them?
So, I want to work with people who are serious about their retirement, about their livelihood, about where they want to be in 10, 15 years. Because it's a commitment. I mean, you need to make your money work for you.
That's like losing weight.
Right. It's in anything you do in life is a commitment. So if you're serious about having $3 million by the time you're 65 or 70 and you're not going to work anymore and you want to maintain that lifestyle, then that's a commitment you need to make. Whether that means you need to stop shopping and you need to stop Starbucks, that's how we're going to get there. So I'll be glad to look at everything and help you with that. I can't hold you to it, but I just want to help you get there.
Well, it's ironic that you say that because a lot of times people find themselves in dilemmas, but they make excuses. Mm-hmm. And you're now bringing it to light. So for whoever's watching, here's an opportunity in how one can learn how to increase its wealth.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you've done for your own self that one could emulate?
Well, I don't drink Starbucks, for one. I brew my coffee at home. I get a big old thing from Costco, and I make, I don't eat out very much. I don't shop a lot. So just those kind of budget things where I'm not frivolous with my money. I really want to invest it in my business, how to make my business grow, because I have that same type of, if you're an entrepreneur, you have that mindset of making money. And that's what I want to talk to all my clients about is how are we going to make this money work for you? Because, I want to see everybody rich. That's the thing that we need to do is educate, our community of things that they don't know. They never thought that, the back in the day was, I don't need insurance. I don't need life insurance. Just, bury me in the backyard. Okay, that you can't do that anymore. So, we got to be realistic, right? And we don't want to put the burden on our family. So things that I do is just, I look at my coverages all the time. I up my limits. I make sure because I'm understanding what it is. I get behind Teslas all the time and I'm like, okay, I need to change lanes just in case. I don't want to be in those predicaments, but if I am, I look at my policies and I make sure that those are up to date. I have, coverage that is, if somebody comes after me, I'm protected. With an umbrella, you actually have an attorney that is provided for you. So if you are sued and your limits are exhausted and that umbrella kicks in, Farmers gives you an attorney for that. So I always tell my clients for so-and-so amount a year, you have an attorney with you. And just understanding that is just peace of mind. If something happens, you're taken care of. That's the main thing. Let us go do our job. Let's go have fun with our family, but know that we're insured properly if something does happen. And so that's the kind of mindset I keep, and that's the thing that I like to explain to my clients.
So what would you deem as frivolous?
Well, just always trying to stay, for me, I'm really, kind of low to the ground. I just stay, I don't need Gucci. I don't need, going up to all these expensive shops. I still shop at Ross. So, I love Ross.
Because you
But-
caring for your retirement.
Exactly. I'd rather be on, some island versus trying to, stay up with the Jones right now. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with driving my car and however I get around and whatever I wear. It's okay. I don't need to prove it to anybody. But when I'm ready to retire, I'm going to enjoy my pina coladas on the island.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, could you enlighten the public, even more about what type of insurance policies that your organizations like to educate the public on?
Well, like I said, life insurance is huge. Here in California, because we have so many fires all over the place, home insurance is really detrimental. You need to understand your policy. You need to know how much dwelling coverage that you have. Because if your house burns down, I mean, like look in Santa Rosa and Paradise, they didn't have enough to rebuild their homes. And, farmers actually went out to extend some of those living policies that they had, the ALE, which is basically additional living expenses. And so if you're not having an agent come to you at least once a year to review your coverages and make sure that you have adequate coverage, then you need to look around, because you need to understand what is your policy. And so the education I have is basically about dwelling coverage, about life insurance, about your auto. We also do commercial. So business owners that have employees, do you have workers' comp? You have to have workers' comp in California. One employee, you need workers' comp. So, we have to explain all these things because not a lot of people know. There's a lot to insurance, and like I said, if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Oh, absolutely. I have a question. There's a lot of individuals that may have been recently released from prison.
Okay.
How can they go about acquiring insurance? What is your insurance company offering for people rebranding from incarceration?
So I would say my agency is felony friendly. And for me, it actually hits home with Reentry because my brother was actually in and out of the prison system since he was, 13. He was very young, getting into mischief, and he was actually in San Quentin for a while too. And so just talking about that hits home because back in the late 80s and 90s, because he was in prison so many times, my father wasn't able to get him citizenship. So at the end, the judge had decided that he was just going to deport him back to Fiji Islands. So what I like to talk to people that come back is life insurance again, because you've been away for so long, you haven't put into the system. You might not have really anything to look forward to in those retirement ages. If you had children and of course you have family that you weren't able to provide for, this is something that you can set up as a legacy that you can leave them if something, when something does happen to you, but then also to ensure some type of retirement and money for yourself. So that's really what I like to talk to reentry people that come back, to educate them and understand how, especially if they're in the Bay Area and they're making some nice money, how do you make this money work for you? And what are you leaving for your family that you weren't able to do for 20, 30 years, whatever the case may be?
Well, have you partnered up with anyone in order to educate these individuals for that?
Well, I'm going to with you.
With who?
With you, Terrence.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited and, of course, very passionate about educating reentry people to understand how to make their money work for them and what they can do for their family now that they're home.
So if you had one thing to say to someone who didn't have life insurance or a retirement plan right now, what would it be?
It's on sale right now because if you want to know, every year that you have a birthday, it's going to get more expensive. So right now is the best time to get life insurance because it's on sale.
Well, I want to not only thank you for coming on the show, but I want to really appreciate that you took the time out to inform people. And a lot of times, people just in general never know who, when they walk by someone, who can actually share something that could be of benefit to them. And a lot of the people that listen and watch this show may never meet you,
Right.
but you took the time out not to walk by them. You took the time out to share something with them that they can utilize for the rest of their life as long as they take the initiative.
Definitely.
So I want to thank you for coming on the
Thank you.
show and educating my viewers.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Terrence.
Absolutely. Before we close this deal, we would love to hear from you, but most importantly, I want to shed light on a famous person who's coming on this show. Spencer Christian, the former weather guy on Good Morning America from 1986 to 1998. I just met with him today and I just closed the deal. So be looking for Spencer Christian to be coming on the show and be searching on the social media site of up and coming events, whether it's the Close the Deal Show Business Network on Shopify or www.the Close the Deal Show. If you have suggestions or questions or even want to apply to be a guest on the show, whether here in San Francisco or in LA, San Francisco Bay Area viewers, you can find the Close the Deal Show every Monday night on Channel 29 Cable Comcast at 8:30 p.m. and online at 29.SFC.TV. Worldwide, you can find the Close the Deal Show on YouTube. Just type my name, Terrence McCray, and click my picture. Please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite episodes. Take good care, everyone. And don't forget, find the right connection and always close the deal.